Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I am at Prop Store in London with Stephen Lane and a deep cut from Superman. Dude, this thing is far out.
It's amazing, isn't it?
What is it?
Well, this is the spaceship launched from Krypton with the baby, Kal-El, Superman, resident for his journey to Earth, placed in the spaceship by his mum and dad, of course, played by Marlon Brando, Jor-El. Made by the incredibly talented Derek Meddings, who I believe actually won a Special Achievement Award, Academy Award for visual effects for Superman. And I'm sure some of this was to do that. What a wacky construction. I mean, what an amazing piece of build.
It's sort of amazing to witness it here because this is a piece made only to be seen on film. It is made to create an illusion for a camera that it almost doesn't create in any other fashion.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. Let's talk about some of its features. Tell me about the spikes.
Yeah, well, they're very pointy. Well, first of all, we should talk about the fact that it's had some restoration work. So when we first encountered this particular ship, it was in a very, very poor state of repair. It was one that had been on display at Planet Hollywood for a number of years.
Okay.
So it incurred some damage. It was missing some of the spikes that are on there as well. And these are made from machined or cast acrylic. I would say probably machined acrylic.
And they're solid.
They are solid acrylic. Yeah, absolutely. So it's missing a few spikes. It also been, as it had been on display for so many years, this sort of, I suppose it's like a fiberglass, the wool effect material in the center, the core of the ship here was very, very badly yellowed.
Okay.
So what we did was we stripped all that out to understand what the construction was. It had been mounted on a nasty rod on the underside, so it could have been on display. Stripped all the center section out of it. And the idea initially was to clean that and to bring that back and resituate it. Unfortunately, it was in such poor state of repair that it just wasn't possible to clean it, but it's going to go together with it. So we've maintained that, but for the aesthetic, for the purposes of the aesthetic, we've put the new stuff in there, matched it as close as we possibly can, and then replaced about 3 of the spikes.
So you had them recast.
Had them remade,
and then re-detailed. Detailing is something we're going to talk about. It's really amazing.
It is, yeah. And actually that was really, really tricky because Superman, of course, was filmed in 1977, released in 1978. A lot of the materials, the modern day materials today are very, very different to what they were. What we have on the spikes is machine cut 3M Scotch tape or similar, a product similar to that. And what you have on the original spikes is you have the front-facing element of it is white, so it reflects white light, and hopefully we'll be able to get this to really reflect the light in the way that you see it on camera, because it lights up like a Christmas tree. It's a glorious thing. But on the modern tape, so it's white on the front on the vintage tape, and then it's black on the underside. On the modern tape, it's white right the way through. And so the guy who did the restoration work for us had to lay everything down in black first of all, and then layer over the top in the white reflexite tape so that we could match it perfectly. So when you're looking through the spikes, you can see the black from the underside, and then as you light it up, you see the white. So I mean, it's a beautiful piece of restoration. This looks so sad and so sorry when we first came across it.
I can only imagine. It's amazing that it's cast acrylic because it's very easy to have made the call back then to do this in polyester resin, in which case it would not have survived in such a lovely state. I think you're right that it's machined out of acrylic because these are just beautifully straight and perfect.
The facets on it are just, they're spot on, aren't they?
And they're not all the same.
No.
There's several different kinds of spikes.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
A huge amount of complexity. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking that the fur in the middle looks semi-ludicrous, please understand that when this is in a camera and the light is shining at it, and because it's reflective tape, it's actually reflecting right back at the camera. This fur becomes just a lighting effect of a glow inside.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. We believe that we know that there were at least 2 of these made. There are slightly different configurations. So I think as the craft lifts off Krypton and then goes into space, I think that the spikes move somewhat on it so that the configuration changes. It sort of becomes more rounded and elongated as we see here. And so there's at least 2 of these made. And then as you look through the top section of this, so I'll point here, but it comes right the way through to the other side out.
Yeah, there's a brass or steel rod coming in
Right,
here.
exactly. So we're surmising that the likelihood is that that's going to be for it to slide along a line.
To move. That's for puppeting it in camera.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it would have been a really tricky thing to move and to really give that sort of organic flow as if it is a craft lifting off. If you've got it on a line, you know, any tension give on that, you know, it's going to be bouncing or whatever. But I mean, the effect in shot was superb. We don't really know what these are for. So we've got some strengthening rods that come through the back here, and then we've also got another one on the back here as well.
Yeah.
We've not really been able to work out what they are for, what the purpose was. Again, it could have been something to do with the way that it was mounted. Maybe there was something else attached to these areas at some point.
Are they original? Are you positive
We're
they're
pretty
original?
comfortable that they're original. Yeah, when we stripped everything out, it all looked like it had been mounted as it was during the production process, during the
very
manufacture.
cool.
So that's why we've left them on there. They don't. It certainly doesn't need it for stability.
Right,
So
right.
it's not like it's supporting those particular spikes at all. Yeah, original to production, but unknown as to the exact reason why.
Fascinating. It is such a beautiful and weird object. When I worked in special effects, some of my favorite jobs were the weirdest, where I just had to help create an effect for the camera. And in that case, you sometimes build the strangest looking things imaginable to get some experience through the lens.
Yeah, but I think when we saw this for the first time on screen, or certainly when I saw it for the first time on screen, I was just like, well, what is that? Is it a star?
Yeah.
You know, is it organic? Is it manufactured? You know, because it's so foreign by comparison to what your perception of a spaceship should look like, right? I mean, what is the reason for this? And of course, as it travels through space and then it comes through Earth's atmosphere, you know, all the spikes burn down and it becomes more of that solidified mass. And it's like, okay, was that the reason for these in the first place?
Right.
So it could go through Earth's atmosphere?
Sure,
or
yeah.
they're burn off. But
deflect heat from the baby.
But I love it when you get something like this within a film where it's not fully explained to you. You know, you're just left. It's left to your own devices, left to your own imagination.
Well, it's also you can imagine the director going, I want to see, you can imagine Richard Donner saying, I want to see something I have never seen before. Show me something brand new, which is the worst thing. It's the hardest charge to fulfill.
Yeah.
How do you come up with something you've never seen before? It's literally, you know, this is a magnificent execution of that charge.
It is, and I don't even feel like we've seen something that sort of compares directly to this subsequently as a spaceship. I mean, it's like, it still sort of stands alone as like a unique spaceship design, doesn't it really?
It really does. It really does. Did you guys build and design this stand for it?
We did, yes. Yeah,
Oh,
we did that as well. Initially, conceptually, what I wanted to do was actually have it float. So we really wanted to support it on the line, but the problem is it just wouldn't be stable. You know, the slightest touch, and of course it doesn't necessarily balance perfectly to be able to do that. So it's like, okay, how do we sort of produce a minimalist style display for it that still allows you to think more about the aesthetic of the actual artifact rather than being focused on the display. So it's an important part of it.
Yeah, you really need stability for those pointy, delicate things.
This was up in my office upstairs for the last year or so, and like whenever we've had to move it downstairs, it's just like, don't fall down the stairs with this one. This could be really nasty.
I could imagine a wrong turn in your office and you'd take your eye out.
Yeah, no, it was up on the back.
Steven, it's amazing.
It's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, it's a testament to Derek Meddings and his team, the work that they did during that era.
Yeah.
You know, he worked on all the Bond films. He was the Thunderbirds TV show. You know, it's just everything that was being produced during that period. There was just so much ingenuity to it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it really was.
Spectacular.
I want to talk about some more ingenuity over here on the left. This beautiful, beautiful Superman miniature.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is. I never tire of miniature clothing. It's something totally sort of fascinating about it. But this is really special because the fabric choice is perfect. This is clearly Superman's suit.
Yeah, it is Superman's suit. Again, this likely would have been created by Derek Meddings and his team. It's a quarter-scale Superman, we believe to be from Superman 1. It is really now just the costume that we're talking about here. You talk about the costume, and it is interesting because you don't really think about the costuming, the skill that's required to, you know, oh, it's a miniature Superman. No, it's not just a miniature Superman, it's a Superman wearing a miniature costume as well.
And someone had to sew that miniature costume on a real-size sewing machine. You don't get a miniature sewing machine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was lucky enough actually to visit McKinnon and Saunders recently. I don't know whether you've ever been to those guys. They're the guys who do the stop-motion animation puppets for like the Corpse Bride.
Oh, amazing.
And I was sitting there having a chat with them about it, and we sort of had a tour of their facility, and one of their departments is costumes for miniature costumes, and they're sitting there sewing them away, and they have all the patterns on the wall and things, and I'm just like, this is astonishing. You know, I never even thought about a team of people who would be making miniature costumes, and it's like this. But what's really interesting about this particular costume is the fact that the fabric, the main Superman fabric, the blue costume fabric here, is the same as the fabric for the main suit itself.
Oh, it's not a scaled down, it's precisely the actual
It is
fabric.
actually the same weave, yeah, absolutely. So it's, again, it's a good way for us to be able to ensure authenticity that this really is, you know, and a miniature that was used in the film. But when we came across this, again, it was in terrible condition. You can see there's a degree of discoloration on the suit here on the front.
Okay.
We actually stripped this off the original body, and we sent it away to a textile conservation specialist who cleaned it as best they could. But what had happened was that the foam rubber, or whatever the material the body was made of, which was all breaking down, had solidified and had leached over the years, and it had yellowed it, unfortunately. So it's lost some of that vibrant blue. And they did a really, really good job on it. And then
they did really do an amazing job.
They did a great job. And then we sort of we sort of stood there and discussed. We considered whether we should try and reuse the original body, but the problem is maybe it would continue to degrade the actual suit itself. And also, it's really the costume more than anything else.
Right, that's what's being featured here.
Exactly, yeah.
And then that's the reason for no head.
Yes, the head had been restored by the prior owner, and it just looked horrible. It was just like a real misrepresentation, and again, it just detracted from everything that we were trying to represent. But look, I mean, it's great. The detail. I'm worried about the spikes over here. The detail here that you've got on the belt, the logo is superb. I mean, it's glorious.
Do you know what scene this was used for?
We can't be specific. I mean, I would say that it's obviously used for visual effects. It would have been one of the flying sequences. It's likely going to be a long shot, a distance shot as he sort of flies off into the distance, or flying across screen, or
overcrank the camera a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. And look, they made multiple different scales of Superman as well. So, you know, but I've seen them down to this sort of size as well. Yeah, and also we've seen them made of resin rather than soft foam bodies. I've seen one with a little flapping cape mechanism built into the back of it as well. Those guys were just brilliant at what they were doing.
It takes a lot to make people believe that a man can fly.
It does.
That was the ad campaign when the movie came out. You will believe a man can fly. And I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I totally did. That totally worked on me.
Yeah, I remember coming out of there going, I was the same age. I was like, somebody can fly, I can fly, I've got to be able to fly. Yeah, and that's why they won the award, isn't it? At the end of the day, it was a really spectacular delivery.
About the fabric, is the cape also the correct fabric for the cape? Because I know we have this one here, not from Superman 1, but from a different one.
Yes. That's harder for me to tell. I would say probably that it could be, but it might be from a cape that was used for a different application, because I think this particular style of cloth would be too heavy on this. I don't think you'd get any movement.
Right.
Now, it could be that this would be the same material that was used for the flying capes, because the flying capes were made of a lighter weight material to give more flow to them as well. But I can't be certain on that. It's very easy for us to tell with the main suit itself, the main bodysuit, but certainly the colour is a great match. You know, it's perhaps lost a little bit of its vibrancy over time, but.
It is so funny that you don't realize when you're watching a movie and you see someone walk into a room and then you see them take off and then you see them fight and then you see them eat lunch, and you don't realize that might be 4 separate costumes, all built to do the things that each of those scenes requires.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I want to finish on this piece. This is from your collection.
No, this is in the auction.
It is?
This is in the auction as well. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
This is Superman 3.
This is Superman 3. So while we're talking about the different applications there of the way that costumes are going to be used, this is a good example actually, because the methodology that they had for labeling the Superman costumes very clearly denoted the application. So in the back of this particular costume, it has a label with Christopher Reeve's name in it. Yeah. And then I think it says Christopher Reeve walking, and then it has the date. So, you know, first of all, we know what the application is off the back of that. We know which film it is off the back of that, and we know that it's a hero costume piece as well. Of course, with Superman 3, you start with a good Superman, the regular Superman that we all know and love. He becomes more evil when he's influenced by the man-made kryptonite. So we can surmise from that the likelihood is that it's going to be early in the Superman film, or it's going to be right towards the end. So it's a walking scene early in the film, walking scene towards the end of the film. So it's unusual really that you can be that specific with what you can pin down. But the flying capes, as I said, would have been lighter weight material most likely.
Meant to flap a little more, give
and,
a little
and
more
actually some of the
activity.
flying capes actually down in the hem here, down in the bottom, they actually have pockets sewn into them, and what they had was a mechanism that sat on the actor's back, and then it had wire rods that came out of it, and it just literally did that to give it the flying effect as well. But
there's a couple of things I noticed off camera before we started filming, is that the folds right and left here are actually sewn into the cape. That it is meant to sit there and foreground the body of Superman is moving forward. The cape is flowing behind him, and they have used stitches to make sure that's how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't just sit organically on the shoulders either. So there are poppers right the way across the top of it. So not only is it stitched in place there, it's going to sit exactly the same place on the shoulders, on the costume every single time.
It's incredible.
Which makes a lot of sense.
I watch these Superman movies now, and their effects can be very dated.
Yes.
And yet, I just walked in and saw this, and I just feel this wellspring of love, because this is my childhood Superman. And even though this looks like my mom sewed it for me, there's a little. I don't mean to be harsh. It just feels it's so handmade. And back then, that wasn't something we were paying attention to. And now, in all the superhero movies, they work so hard to make objects of impossible manufacture, right?
Yeah.
Like our friends at different effects studios do incredible work at that.
Yes, yeah, to make it perfectly accurate and identical in every single iteration, no matter what the application.
Yeah.
And actually, it's interesting when we sort of go back to the miniature suit, and we sort of consider the full size version of this as well. That's how we managed to scene match and screen match some of the real, the full size suits that have been we've handled over the years, because that application, that S logo on the front, every single one is hand stitched in place, and they all have just very slight intricacies to the S shape and where the gaps are and things like that. So
somewhere you have an Excel file that helps you know which seams go to which.
Yes,
amazing.
Yeah, and going through the film frame by frame, as we love to do, to make sure that we match these up as best we can. But yeah,
I find something beautiful about fandoms going back and unpacking the information that isn't really important to unpack, except for emotional and aesthetic reasons of wanting to go back into that kind of franchise. I love that thing.
No, we certainly spend a lot of time doing that, and that's the journey that we go on. We love walking that walk, going that path, because it is a journey of discovery. And sometimes we don't know the answers. We don't find out what the answers are. We don't know why these rods are here yet, but maybe one day we will.
Maybe in the comments someone will help us and tell us, oh, my grandfather built those, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Stephen, the auction's coming up.
It is. It's live online right now, and the live auction takes place December 5th to the 7th.
Sir, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
A pleasure. See you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. One of my favorite things we make in our tested store are demerit badges. These are like scout badges, but for screwing stuff up, because screwing up is not just a part of the making process, it is intrinsic to it, and we like to celebrate that. We've got 27 so far in the Supervisors bundle that you can go buy right now by clicking on the link in the description, but we also have a booster pack of some brand new patches. This is the demerit badge for burning off your eyebrow. I am proudly sewing that to all of my clothes. This is the demerit badge for having a messy workbench, which I do not get today. My workbench is super clean. And we have new octagonal patches that are, merit badges. This is the merit badge for sweeping up your shop. Congratulations, I'm so proud of you. And this, oh my God, this is great. This is the merit badge for creating a clean space on your bench. Hey, we got to take our successes where they come and meet them there. Go to the tested-store.com or adamsavage.com to buy any of these, or click on a link in the description.